One of the things that got me interested in climate change is being a decent human. No, I'm kidding. One of the things that got me interested in climate change is that I'm from Hawaii originally, and obviously we are an island. We see the impacts of climate change firsthand. So, for example, there's a road that we used to drive on growing up that had to be moved inland because it was getting washed away by the water level rising. I'm just reading an article about how Antarctica is changing rapidly. There are some abrupt changes happening that I want to share with you. This is the article published Emerging Evidence of Abrupt Changes in the Antarctic Environment. In my course that I built on how to grow a business sustainably, I teach about planetary boundaries, and planetary boundaries is generally understood in Europe and it comes from Sweden specifically. However, when I teach this, a lot of the American students, people that work at tech companies, are surprised that they've never heard of it before, and we've already crossed 6 out of 9 planetary boundaries, so it's obviously escalating and not looking good. I bring this up because this is something that Nirali Abram explains in this paper. The thing is, we knew that Antarctica was affected. However, when we talk about abrupt change in scientific terms, the environment is changing much faster than expected. To put this research into simple terms, the coverage of ice has fallen by an unbelievable amount. During winters, it has declined 4.4 times faster than it has in the Arctic in the last decade. The loss of winter sea ice in Antarctica over just the past decade is similar to what the Arctic lost over the last 46 years. The problem with this is that it kicks off a feedback loop. Because ice is bright white, the Arctic ends up warming around 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. This is because normally sea ice bounces back light from the sun into space. This cools the region. As we lose more and more ice, what's happening is that it exposes darker ocean waters, absorbs that energy. There's a critical ocean system which is known as the Antarctic overturning circulation. When sea ice forms, it rejects salt. This creates extra cold water that is denser and sinks to the seafloor. This creates circulation, but melting ice dilutes this. This brings more warm water into contact with the ice shelves. Why does that matter? Because the circulation brings back deeper waters to the surface, including critical nutrients for phytoplankton. And these absorb carbon and expel oxygen. They sequester half of the carbon from photosynthesis worldwide. They also make up the base of the whole food web, and this feeds larger fish.